Travel is one of the best gifts. It's easy to wrap, fits underneath the tree, and makes the most memories, right?
The gift is the experience versus a physical thing that they may just stick in a drawer.
Have you been dreaming of travel but not sure where to go or how to begin planning? Well, you found the right podcast.
Welcome to Theme Parks and Passports, the travel podcast for every family ready to explore the world, one destination at a time. I'm Melissa Sanchez, travel addict, wife, and mom of 2 big kids. Along with planning all my family adventures, I've been helping others realize their travel dreams through my company, Spellbound Vacations, since 2010.
And I'm Heidi Mackey, a travel enthusiast with a passion for geek and pulp culture. I'm also a wife and a mom of a spicy tween. Since 2017, I've been creating vacation memories for families through my business, House of Mackey Travel. Join us as we share stories, tips, and talk to those in the know to inspire your family's next great adventure.
Because creating family travel memories can happen in any stage of life.
Welcome back to Theme Parks and Passports. I'm Heidi Mackey of House of Mackey Travel.
And I'm Melissa Sanchez, owner of Spellbound Vacations. It's hard to believe, but it's actually, the holidays are just around the corner. I can't even believe that when we're recording this, it's October. So that is just crazy. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm already thinking, what am I getting everybody for the holidays? My daughter and I were just discussing this yesterday. How about you, Heidi?
I told my husband the other day, there's one thing I want for Christmas. I was like, you didn't ask me, but this is the one thing I want for Christmas. So we've been starting to work on that in our house too.
So if you're anything like us and you're thinking about, oh my gosh, what am I getting my spouse, my kids, my partner, my parents, whoever it might be that you're buying gifts for this holiday season, Heidi and I always think travel is a great idea.
Yes, travel is one of the best gifts. It's easy to wrap, fits underneath the tree, and makes the most memories, right?
It definitely does. And it doesn't actually have to be a physical trip. And if you already have a trip planned, whether it be with us next year or you're just thinking about going away and you're looking for some little things to add on to your trip, we can help with that too.
So let's start by talking about travel itself. I mean,
Yes.
we're already overwhelmed during this season. So putting in planning a whole trip may seem daunting, but actually it's not that bad, is it?
Well, it's not. And it's certainly not when you're working with your trusted travel advisor like Heidi and I, because that's what we're here for is, let's say, I'm just going to say this because we just got back from South Africa, right? So let's say you're like, that's my bucket list for 2026. I want to surprise my significant other with that trip. I don't even know where to begin. Heidi and I know where to begin. And using companies like G Adventures, who does all the planning for you, makes it so much easier to get those bucket list destinations in without feeling overwhelmed.
And being able to plan at this point of year, it gives you an opportunity to have that time to sit and daydream, but also gives you a little bit more time to pay for those bucket list items.
Right, because it's a little bit different to put a trip under the tree or under the menorah, so to speak, right, than it is to travel over the holidays. Because purchasing a trip where you're going to travel in 2026, depending on when in 2026, it may be that you only have to put the deposit down. And if you're looking at travel next summer, your final payment may not be due until early spring. So it gives you enough time to make those plans, get those trips booked, get everybody on board, and make some payments along the way. But that's one of the fun things too about booking in advance and giving that trip for the holidays is you don't have to plan it all. So let's say, for example, you're doing a cruise, right?
Mhm.
You can give the gift of the cruise to your significant other, your full family, that multi-gen, and then you can involve everybody in the little details of it.
Right. Yeah, having a base structure and then once you've made the big reveal, being able to sit down as a family and say, "Yay, it gives everybody a starting space. Sometimes the hardest part is figuring out where you want to go. If you start with that piece, that is a gift within itself, because then your family can sit down, they can start going through. It's like starting out with a puzzle. Instead of saying, which puzzle do we want to make? We put down the box and we say, here's the puzzle we're going to make. And you're able to actually put the pieces together.
And I think, too, one of the things that makes all of this really nice is giving experiences over giving things, which I love to do. And we don't necessarily every year give a vacation to our family or a
Right.
trip to our family, but we give an experience. One thing, for example, that we do every year is we give Broadway tickets.
Such a great idea.
We've been doing this for years with the kids, and now my kids are big, so I don't know. We'll have to check back later and see what happens under this year's tree. But previous years, I'll pick a show that none of us have seen. The gift is the experience versus a physical thing that they may just stick in a drawer.
A long weekend to see a sports team that you don't have
Mhm.
access to all that often. Or maybe you do get to see them all the time, but you don't get to see them on the road. So you plan a long weekend in a drivable town and make sure that a game is part of it. We're big CFL fans, and actually one of the things we're talking about doing for 2026 is going to Toronto or Montreal and making sure that we include a game while we're there. I think that would be a great surprise for my husband and my daughter, who are both fans.
Yep. So I'm just going to ask for those of us who may not know, what is CFL?
I'm sorry, Canadian Football League.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure. So if you weren't sure what it was when she said that, don't feel bad. I didn't know either. So
Well, it's an excellent example of it not being close to home. We don't get to those
yeah.
games. We're not in Canada. We're not close to the border. So being able to take something from the TV and put it in person, like, elevates it to that gift
Yeah.
level.
Agreed, agreed. I think that's a perfect gift, and it's thoughtful too because you're not just saying, "Okay, let's go do this trip." You're looking at what is your family interested in? What experience would we all benefit from? And when you do something like a long weekend like that, traveling to maybe a city you've never been to and seeing some a sports team that you really love, like that is such a great option too.
Now, maybe your friends and family already have a trip on the calendar. In that case, one way to add something special would be maybe gifting them a tour, an excursion, or maybe a dining experience to something they already have planned.
Yes, I think that is also a great option. This past January, January 2025, my family and we went to Walt Disney World. My husband was running the Goofy Challenge, which if Goofy Dopey, no, I'm sorry, he did the Dopey. So when you do the Dopey, it's the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, the marathon. Within a 4-day period, you run all of those things and you're dopey for doing it. You're just insane. Because we had this booked, many of the gifts I gave my kids for Christmas last year were things we were going to use. I gave new magic bands. I booked us Wild Trek Safari at Animal Kingdom. That was one of our gifts. So it was an experience. It was something that was going to go with the trip, with the magic bands. And that was so fun because we had this great stuff to look forward to on a trip that the kids already knew about and had already been helping plan, but I was able to surprise them with a little bit more to make the trip a bit more special.
I think another good experience that is for those that are not the actual trip planner, but you're looking to gift something for the trip planner, is a family portrait
Yeah.
session. You can do family portraits in Walt Disney World. You can go to almost every Caribbean destination has half an hour beach photo session. You can do some really cool photos and help actually preserve those memories. And usually those are the kind of gifts that the family chaos coordinator is not going to plan for herself or their self, or it's going to have a lot of impact for them, showing that you want to remember the vacation just as much as they do.
Yes. And I think that's a great example of something that you can gift the planner of the family. A few other things are, maybe like us, your mom or your spouse is the planner. And I think a great option is spa experiences, whether you're on a cruise, whether you're at a resort, whether you're at a theme park. You could be in Europe. You're going to find spas everywhere. And I think that is a great experience too that you can gift, or dinners. Let's say you're traveling in Europe next year, like find a great restaurant and book the dinner. It's just one less thing that the coordinating person doesn't have to worry about.
If you're on a cruise, pick one of the specialty dining. Don't
Mhm.
just get a specialty dining package, but the part that makes it a gift is actually doing something that is very intentional. So you're picking the restaurant, you're picking the night, or just picking the restaurant if you don't know what the actual schedule is, but saying, we're going to make sure that we hit this restaurant while we're on the
Yeah.
cruise ship. Another good example is I have had clients go to Italy recently, and did you know that you can drive a Ferrari for 10 minutes?
I did not know that.
Oh, yes. It's amazing. I got the coolest pictures for my clients, but they had so much fun. And just being able to drive a Ferrari in Italy, in the Ferrari museum, like, how cool
That's
is that? And
cool.
it's not something that you would think, but those type of unique experiences are out there. And if you're a driving enthusiast, even locally, there are places all over the US that you can actually drive very high-end cars. So you can drive the Lamborghini, the Ferraris, all those cars that you may, like me, don't have access to. But it's such a great experience, and it's not something that people would definitely be like, I'm going to Italy, so let me make sure I drive a Ferrari. It's a surprisable kind of gift.
No, and that's great. And if you don't wanna drive, but you still are looking for a kinda cool driving experience, when I was in Monaco this past year, we did a tour where we weren't the ones driving, we were with the tour company, but we drove on the F1 track because the F1 track
Amazing.
runs through the city of Monaco. And so it was so cool to be able to I actually think I posted some of it recently on my Instagram of driving, because I was lucky enough I get car sick, so I was sitting in the front. So I had a great, like, forward-facing view as we were driving the track, and again, I wasn't the one driving, but as an F1 fan, that's still so cool, you know?
And again, not something that necessarily you would think about. So think outside
Right.
the box. Think about the location. Where are they going? What are they known for? And what is it that you can only do there? That's another great place to start when you're looking for unique experiences. What
Yeah.
is it that is quintessential to your destination, and see if you can figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and don't e and even think about, like, where is your destination? So, again, we were in the French Riviera, which we could drive right into Monaco because
Right.
it's the border, it's right there. So,
Perfect.
you might not necessarily think, "Oh, I'm gonna drive into another country to do an experience," but it was super easy. So, definitely keep your mind open and talk to your travel professional, your travel advisor who may be able to guide you if you have something that you really wanna do, but you're not sure how to do it. We're here to help you with those little things.
And I think it's also we're there to help you too if you are doing travel as a gift. We are a fountain of ideas in how to actually physically give that gift. We can
Yeah.
help you with some of those surprise moments. As an example, last year, my sister gave my niece a trip to New York. What she did is she ended up going into Shutterfly, putting together a scavenger hunt, pictures, places that we used to live in New York City, so she had some of her own pictures, but then she also pulled new things off the internet, was able to put this into an entire book that my niece was able to look through and actually familiarize herself with a little bit. So not only did she have something physical to open, but she also was able to mentally prepare herself to go so that when she got there, she knew what she was looking at. And there are amazing travel books out there. Another
Mhm.
suggestion would be an ornament or some type of token from that destination, say like a Mickey ornament to give a Mickey cruise. And then you can continue to put that ornament on your Christmas tree. If it's a Christmas gift, you're able to put that ornament on each year and it reminds you of the experiences you had. My niece can go back and look through the book, and not only did she get it for the whole time before she showed up, but now it'll help her remember the trip also.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to throw out a little memory of mine. My first trip to Walt Disney World, which was more years than I'm going to say ago. And it wasn't at the time where everybody was going to Walt Disney World. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
wasn't where every other kid in your child's class was going. My parents put together an invitation and it was on the tree. And we opened it and it was a letter from Mickey Mouse. And it said we were being invited to Walt Disney World. And when we weren't going until school was out. And so this was December. We weren't going till the end of June. And that's such a great idea too. I know that on Etsy, you can go on there and people create these invitations, whether it's Walt Disney World, whether it's Universal, and maybe you have a Harry Potter fan and you get the letter to Hogwarts. There's so many little things that you can give as the introduction to the gift, so to speak. Let's jump a little bit away from the actual putting a trip under the tree or menorah, so to speak.
Mhm.
You've already got your trip booked. We kind of were saying previously you can book add-on experiences to that, but there's physical things you can give too. Like I gave my kids new magic bands. You could give personalized luggage tags or luggage. I remember when my son was going to Africa, and that year, he wasn't going till May, but that year, one of the things we gave him was his own luggage. And so he had his own big suitcase. He didn't have to worry about taking one of mom's. And there's so many of those little things too that you can use as gifts.
One great example is a Stanley or an Owala. It's the elevated water bottles that they may not purchase for themselves. And I'm not talking about the Stanleys with the handles because those are actually pretty tough to travel with.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the ones with the lid and can roll around in your backpack. So getting something like that, $45 on a water bottle, they may not spend that on themselves, but it's an amazing gift to get. AirTags is another example. Or there are luggage tags that do have tracking in them also.
Yes.
That way, when you give your luggage to the airline and kiss it goodbye, you can actually continue to track it.
Yes.
Knowing when it's going to come off the plane, knowing that it made it to the same location you made it is very helpful.
Definitely. And just a side note, if you do have the luggage tags that are, have the tracking with them, I didn't turn off the notifications after I got home for the one that I have. So every time I left the house, I would get a notification on my phone that your luggage is no longer with you. And clearly, but my luggage was sitting in my basement in my storage room. So you can turn off the notifications once you are home for your AirTags or your luggage if you were getting the alerts on those. So that's just a little side note. But another great thing, this I think is a really great stocking stuffer, because I know when you have bigger kids like we do, I tend to give gift cards. And gift cards are perfect, whether it's a stocking stuffer, whether, again, you're giving it, maybe it's a friend gift, maybe it's a grandparent gift who are traveling with you. There's Uber and Lyft gift cards. There's cruise lines have gift cards. There's Disney has their gift cards. Amazon, so they can buy some things, maybe the luggage tags, that sort of thing. Starbucks, so when you're at the airport and you want to buy that $30 coffee, oh, you have a gift card
Right.
to use for that. But I always think gift cards are great. And if you want to incorporate that travel theme, there are so many travel gift cards out there that can be a stocking stuffer or a smaller gift that you want to give. I don't mean smaller monetarily, I just smaller size-wise.
I think gift cards are a great idea. They can be used for the vacation, they can be used in preparation for the vacation, and they can be used on the vacation.
Yes. And another great thing that people don't always think about, or maybe even don't even realize that you can do, is you can gift onboard credit to somebody if they're cruising. If you're
Right.
not sure how to do it, your travel advisor can assist with that. But if you've got a cruise booked and you've got cabin, maybe your kids are traveling in their own cabin and you want to give them some onboard credit, that is also something that you can gift to somebody who has a cruise already booked.
One of the things I think people don't realize is that onboard credit, you can actually use that prior to being on board
Yes.
if you want to add items to your room. You want to have a bottle of wine arrive. You could actually gift the bottle of wine if you wanted to,
Yes.
but
True. True.
you could also give them the onboard credit so that they could prepare themselves to have a bottle of wine in their room. You could use it to pay towards a cabana. You don't have to
Mhm.
give them all of the funds to get a cabana, but if you know they want a cabana, you can help contribute to that. And that's one of the amazing things about the onboard credit, just depending on the timing that it goes onto their account. But
Yeah.
that actually does lead into something else, is that for a lot of the cruise lines, if you can get the reservation number from whomever you're trying to gift to, you can go on and you can gift them things that'll show up in their rooms. You
Mhm.
can have their rooms decorated for them. You could have food there prepared, arrived for the day they show up. And some
Yeah.
of the cruise lines will let you pick a day that's not the first day. So say someone's going and celebrating something like a birthday. You want a cake to arrive for them. You can actually go into the cruise line, request a cake, picked the day that the cake is going to show up. So maybe it's their third day on the cruise. During the day, they would end up getting the cake and it would have a card from you, just like flowers, champagne, those types of things. It would
Yeah.
have a card from you saying happy birthday.
And along with adding things, I have had clients who say the grandmother knows that the family is going on a trip next year and it's booked through me. I have actually had people make payments toward a trip and then gift them that and saying, I made a X amount of dollars towards your bucket list trip next year. So if you're not sure if you want to help somebody take care of the trip, I know this is a bigger thing maybe with like honeymoons, wedding registry, honeymoon registry kind of things, but I have had people give that as Christmas gifts to their grandkids or whatnot that they want to contribute to helping them get on this vacation because it is a dream trip.
Melissa, those are all great ideas. And I think we've covered quite a bit. If you still have questions or need ideas, don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. We'd be more than happy to share some ideas with you. I think it's time for Would You Rather. Are you ready, Melissa?
I am. So this week, and this is, I think this is going to be a hard question to answer for us because of who we are and what we do.
Mhm.
But would you rather give travel or receive travel as a gift?
That one is tough. There is so much joy in giving for me. I
Mhm.
know that sounds like a Hallmark movie, but I really enjoy like putting together the perfect trip for someone and being able to surprise them with that. But that said, every once in a while, it's really nice to not be the driver and be the passenger princess and have travel gifted to me. I do get a little antsy if it's not planned the way I would
Yeah.
have planned it. But I think people know me well enough that they let me have a little bit of a say after a while. How about you?
Yeah, I think I like to give, especially to my own family, because that means I'm included in the travel. I'm not sure about the receiving, to be perfectly honest with you. I am such a control freak when it comes to what we're doing and where we're going that I think it would be lovely if my husband was like, "Hey, here's a blank check. Plan your trip to wherever." But I think if someone came to me and said, "I planned this whole trip for you," I might be a little, "Oh my god, thank you so much." shoot.
Yes. Well,
That's because I don't like to give up that control. It gives me anxiety.
so the perfect gift for you would be your husband saying, "Yes, Melissa, we can go to XYZ." Like
Yes.
it's almost like the gift is it's decided, we're going, now plan it kind of deal.
Yes, 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 because the planning part I love so much. As we all know, as travel advisors, that's part of us. It's part of our DNA practically sitting here and doing that for others and for ourselves. So, yeah, that is the perfect gift. Here's where we're
Absolutely.
going. Figure it all out.
Yeah. And I think that's an important point too. There is power in permission. Being able to say, yeah, we're going to do this year. We may not know how yet, but we're going to do it. And that
Yeah.
is like sometimes the greatest gift. We live like, I don't know about you, but I live vicariously through every single person. So my entire bucket list is based on itineraries I've made for other people and been like, I want to do this now too.
Yeah,
I'm going to
I've
crawl
had
into
a
your
lot of
suitcase and
that.
I'm going to go with you.
Yes, yes. I'm currently in the midst of planning a couple different trips. One to Greece, one to Italy. I just got a request for Spain this morning, and I'm like, oh,
Wow.
well, those hotels look nice. Well, that looks really
Yeah,
nice. So,
exactly.
no,
Let's see. Where do I have a week on my calendar?
yeah.
There we go.
Where
We're
can
going to
I
Spain.
fit this in my life too? Absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this week. I hope we were able to spark some ideas for your holiday gifts, and definitely reach out if you want to put that trip under the tree or you need some help getting together some add-ons for the trips you already have booked with us.
Gifts don't have to be physical, nor do they have to be gigantic. It's always about the thought. And sometimes, as we just said, it's the permission to be able to start planning.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit subscribe on Spotify or your favorite podcast player. And while you're there, feel free to leave us a rating and review.
Check out the show notes for links to Spellbound Vacations LLC and House of Mackey Travel. Until next time, keep living your best travel life.